Hello everybody, there's a clue to where I am on this cold Sunday morning. An iconic view of the market cross at Barnard Castle, my hometown. So let's go and explore. The place I'm visiting today is something that played quite a big part in my life, or the family's life, and the history of my family. That's St Mary's Parish Church. It's where I was baptised. I think my parents were married there. I think all 4 funerals for my grandparents were there. And when I was younger, I had to go to Sunday school back in the late 70s and early 80s, which was over there in that building, the Parish Hall. As kids, you often used to play in here when you were at functions at the church and so on. I know my nana played here back in like the 1920s when she was a young girl growing up. It's a place I've never really explored the headstones a great deal. I know a couple of them and I'll show you a couple of them, but most of them I've never gone off the beaten path because it was always muddy and so on. But this is probably one of the most famous, I think it is the most famous one at the church. This is the Hopper Memorial. It's absolutely stunning. Now I believe it's the father of the person buried here has a mausoleum up on Shotley Bridge. So if you Google Hopper Mausoleum, Shotley Bridge, you'll find that. I've never been to it. It's up outside Shotley Bridge somewhere. It's beautiful, but look at that. Detail on that, and there's a skull and crossbones, memento mori, remember you must die. Look at the ornate and carving on that. And here lieth the body of George, son of Humphrey Hopper of Blackheadley, which I think is like up that area. Here's Shotley Bridge. Nice cold morning. This looks like this is the oldest part of the church. It's over 1,000 year old, this particular church. And there are tens of thousands of people buried here. Just to give you some example, between 1617 and 1687, there's records of, I think, 3,123 burials at this particular spot. And just between 1807 and 1812, there was 491 people buried here. Effectively, I think it was 1859, the new cemeteries opened up a few hundred metres away. So people probably would still be able to be buried here after that particular period, if they had like a vault in the church or there was space in the burial plot that they owned. Again, the way the camera's pointing is facing east. Have a look at a few of these. One thing you'll notice about this, which I haven't seen in many graveyards, is the perfect alignment. If you have a look, it's almost too perfect. You see, straight down. And you see it more as we go across there. Like these little ones here. I've got my torch as well. I've got it. Let's have a look at some of them. This would have served Barnard Castle and some of the villages on the Yorkshire side of the river. So what difference that makes? In memory of Elizabeth, wife of Edward, I think that's Samson or Simpson of Woodencroft Lodge. That's a place I've never heard of. 1780. Because the River Tees is a couple of hundred metres, well, probably about 400 metres down that hill. On the other side, it used to be Yorkshire. Now it's So this served a lot of the villages up towards Lartington, the farms. This looks an interesting one. Oh, that's not enough. Oh, that's all in Latin, I believe. Hello, aged 2 years and aged 20 weeks. That's for 2 children. Hello, George, aged something years. An interesting one. And memory of Elizabeth, wife of George Brownless of Stenton. That's possibly Staten. There is a Staten village just outside Barnard Castle. Here lie the bodies of Jane and Sarah, daughters of Lionel and Sarah Simpson, who departed this life February 14th, aged 4 years, and Sarah, same month, I think that's 1757, aged 2 years. And then the father died in 1764, so sadly they lost the 2 daughters in the same month. This area doesn't have many headstones on the western side, but there is something interesting I want to have a look at. It is get some good views up here. Show where the camera is up there. Look, if you see the straight alignment of them all, it looks too straight. I'm not too sure if somebody came along and then redid them, but there's a hell of a lot of like old ones. Maitland, Martin, there's the skull and crossbones. There's a good view, look at that. It's eastward facing. It is quite a large churchyard actually. And I'm sure back in the day before some of the houses were built, probably stretched a little bit closer. Oh, this one's a good one to read. Sacred to the memory of Jane, daughter of James and Elizabeth Carnell of Barnard Castle, who died February 7th, 1820. I say there's the long the F, the S made like look like an F. Aged 6 years, and then her sister died 1821. So again, June the 9th and February of the same year, 1821. And then there was a brother who died, I think that's 1829, aged 14 years. And then there was another sister who died in I think that's 23, aged 11 days. And then another Mary who died 1820, so what's that, five children. And then there's another one at the bottom as well. This is an old one. Here lieth the body of William Cheeseborough, Senior, who departed this life August the 17th, 1759, aged 61 years. I've come across Cheeseborough before in records. See if we can find an epitaph. Mentions dust. I can't see it. Go up here. There is an other. Oh, this is one. Hopefully I can see this, but the sun is quite bright at the moment. See, heed, less youth, active, young, and gay. At mere blooming years were snatched away. A tender friend whom I have left to mourn, give to my memory this grateful stone. Deo Optimo Maximo. Doesn't say who it is, but hopefully there's something on the other side of that. I saw that epitaph in Staindrop yesterday. Henry Ewbank. I think it's a West Malden name originally. It's the same one. This is the one which had the Latin. And to memory of Susanna Davis, daughter of Gerard and Mary Davis of Barnard Castle. She retained and put off mortality to the mercy of our God. Aged, I think that's 11 years. That was for daughter who was 11. We'll go down here because I want to show you the Cholera Memorial. There was a cholera epidemic in Barnard Castle, like a lot of places in the UK back in, I think it was 1848 or 1849. Anyway, look at this. It's just a cross to remember all the burials. So, in memory of 143 inhabitants of Barnard Castle who died of Asiatic cholera from August the 18th to October the 18th, 1849, in the midst of life we are in death. That same, just to put something into perspective, I think the population was about 5,000 of Barnard Castle at that time, and 143 inhabitants died. Where I live at the moment, Sunderland, the same epidemic in the borough of Sunderland, which covered Bishop Wearmouth, Monk Wearmouth, and Sunderland, took the lives of somewhere between, I think it was about 400 to 450, which was nowhere near as like the rate of mortality in this particular small town in the southwest Durham. And most of the victims lived in the lanes and streets near this church, particularly on the bank down towards the river, where the living conditions were the worst. And in the burial records for this particular church, anybody who died of cholera, they actually put the time of burial, like 6 p.m. in the burial records, which isn't that common because they're trying to get them buried as soon as possible. But look, you get a good view of the church from this angle. As you can see, hundreds of headstones. The one I remember, it's because it's right on the corner of the footpath down there. If you look at this, is for a veteran of Waterloo, Mr. Benjamin Sweeten, which I'm going to go and try and visit before the video. I want to look at some lovely work from back in the day. It's a good local name. Wife of Thomas Hesbrook of Marwood and daughter of Robert and Ursula Gardner of Pegswood near Mortheth in the county of Northumberland, departed this life. Now, I've done a story about a George Heslop who came from Barnard Castle to Sunderland. He was a grocer, so I don't know, they're connected. There's some members of the Appleby family next to each other. Trying to see if you can find any ornate ones. A lot of these headstones are written on both sides. Douthwaite, Jackson. So what, I'm going to go down and see Mr. Sweeten's grave. If I remember, a veteran of Waterloo, came to Barnard Castle. I think he walked all the way. I think his monument says, or I read somewhere. I think he had a public house in the town. What's this little one here? Here lieth the body of Robert Harwood, who died February I think that's 15th, 1773, aged 18 years. So, what's that, 250 odd years ago? I think that was around the time of the American War of Independence, just to put it in some historical context. Well, within about 10 years, I think of it. The graves are a bit more spread out up here, but like all most cemeteries, most people who are buried here won't have any memorial or any mention. Back in the day, the well-to-do in the medieval times, they would be buried in the church in vaults. I think it's very picturesque here with the old school just over there. And we'll go. This is Benjamin Sweeten's. Have a look here. This is the one. Must have cost a fortune of all these words engraved. Look at the little extra bits. As you can see, this is the one most people will probably pass by. It's right on the corner of the paths, and that's a good view of the church up there. Let's have a look. Sacred deposited the remains of Benjamin Sweeten, late quartermaster in His Majesty's 52nd Light Infantry Regiment, and husband of Sarah Sweeten, his surviving and disconsolate widow, well, she would be probably, wouldn't she, who in return of this great share of happiness she enjoyed during their union caused this stone to be erected. But ceased to be mortal in Barnard Castle, December 15th, 1852, in the 61st year of his life. Then we've got this extra section of the graveyard over here. See if there's any. Swinburne. Places like this you could probably do two or three videos. The amount of ornate headstones. It's a lovely ornate carving. See Myers. Here lies the body of Mary, the daughter of Thomas and Anne Routledge of Barnard Castle, who departed this life May the 11th, 1811, aged 9 months. Duncan. So we can get one more in. George Wharton of Dentgate, Langley-Dale. That's just out of Barnard Castle off towards sort of the Stainbrook area. Just so lovely. There's a robin watching us. What's that when robins are near here, loved ones or deer or something? So I'll give you one last view of the churchyard and the church. So thank you very much for watching. If you do like it, please give it a like, and if you wish to, click on the subscribe. I will be back here again in the future. Thank you very much.